Hey, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Controlled Interest Gamecast, where we talk about video games and everything happening in the industry. As always, I'm joined by Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
Hello, how are you, friends?
And Dom. How's it going, Dom?
Aren't you sure? Are you sure you didn't just introduce Stephen Hawking?
I don't know. He's sitting down. We don't know. Yeah, so we're going to get into it. Episode 25, quarter of a century old. Can't believe we've been recording this long. It's awesome.
We should probably start doing more than one podcast a year, though.
Yeah, at that rate, we won't be alive. It'll be like, you know, in those like old '90s sitcoms when they have like the new cast, like the new generation.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
pass on the baton.
Yeah, control interest next generation. Yeah, so getting to what we've been playing this week, it was actually a pretty hefty week. The last couple of weeks have been pretty barren for me. Like I said, the last couple of weeks it was like Spelunky, and that was pretty much it for the most part. This week was a pretty hefty dive. So Capcom had a sale this week. They had a bunch of games on sale, a bunch of Resident Evil games no one likes, and then they actually had the Mega Man collection. So I picked that up for like $9. It's Mega Man 1 through 6. Can't beat that. For $9 is insane. So I've been playing through Mega Man 2. I'm almost done. I think I have like Woodman and Heatman left before I get to Wily's Castle. The Mega Man games are just like super awesome. You guys have both played Mega Man, right?
Nope.
Here and there.
Yeah, they're like, I've just been on such a 2D platform kick. Then I saw the Mega Man collection was on sale, so I was super stoked. I love the game. Dark Souls 3, I actually rented it for a day. I didn't have enough money to rent it for longer than that. Redbox charges like insane numbers, but I was like, yeah, I'll pick up Dark. I felt like playing Dark Souls. I got past, you know, the second boss, the Boreal Valley guy. Yeah, I got past that, and then I was into the area where like the other dude's like raining arrows into the graveyard. Like he launches like the spears and stuff from up above. I got to that part. I still love the game. I watched a full playthrough. Playing it, it's exactly what I thought the game was. To me, it's the best controlling Dark Souls, but the bosses were really easy. I beat both of them on my second attempt, which I have experience with Dark Souls, but I just remember for some reason the other Dark Souls games, the ramp up was a lot more difficult, and this one seems a lot easier. I don't know. But I enjoyed myself. Dark Souls is always a fun time. WWE 2K16 came out for Games with Gold, and God, is that game a pile of garbage.
Oh no.
Yeah, so me and my friends downloaded it to play with each other because it's a fun time. And the game is fun in the sense of playing a wrestling game. There are huge problems with the game. First of all, the latency is atrocious. The online latency is terrible. It makes a lot of the actual like button prompts and QuickTime events virtually unusable. The latency is horrid. The best part about the game is the soundtrack. They spent all of their money on the soundtrack. Also, the game is 48 gigs, which is insane to me. If you play that game, you don't know where all that stuff goes because
it's all those packs, bro.
Yeah, I guess. The menus are not very well done. It looks very amateurish. The animations are poorly done. It looks like the video game genre hasn't evolved since 2000, which is sad because if I was as big of a wrestling fan as I was when I was a kid, I'd be upset that this is the product I get. And it actually made me more thankful for another game I got this week, Madden 17. I played it through EA Early Access today. You get to play it for 10 hours, and the game's great. It's Madden every year. I do wish it would become a platform like most sports games, but I do love Madden. I love football. I'm glad football's back too. And playing WWE 2K16 made me enjoy Madden 17 more and made me more thankful for that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I still miss NCAA. I think NCAA football's my favorite sports franchise out there, but they had to cancel it due to like the student athlete problems they're having. But yeah, also Madden 17 is 24 gigs, so it still is. It's weird to me that WWE 2K16 was 48 gigs.
Got those pecs covered up with pads.
Yeah. So I did quite a bit of gaming, and I also watched Room. It's a movie I've been wanting to watch for a long time, starring Brie Larson, our future Captain Marvel. And yeah, the movie's so sad, but it's so good.
Have you seen that, Dom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I like that movie a lot.
It's intense, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's different than a lot of, like, I love movie experiences that are different than what I've seen. And the sad part is, like, that movie's 100%, like, true life events. Like, that stuff happens, which is scary.
Yep.
But yeah, really good movie. It's pretty much Ed been babbling for a bit. What have you guys been playing this week and watching and entertaining yourselves with?
So for me, I really didn't play any video games at all this week. I probably played like 2 or 3 rounds of Battlefront, and that was it. But that was mostly just because I've been reading Heir to the Empire, and kind of had that Star Wars itch, I guess you could say. So, been reading a whole bunch. Besides that book, I've also been picked up the Chronicles of Narnia just because I was feeling like it, and read The Magician's Nephew real quick. Those books are super short. So, besides that, I read a bunch of DC Rebirth. Decided to kind of like get caught up with that, and I was kind of telling myself that I was going to go back and finish out the New 52 before I got into DC Rebirth, but ended up just jumping into Rebirth, and really it's not hard to follow at all. I thought I was going to kind of be lost and stuff, not really know what was going on, but there's really not much of anything that I've been too confused about, so really enjoying it. It's already way better than the New 52 as far as the level of quality present throughout each book. There's only a couple that I didn't even think were like super awesome, but the rest of them I was like really, really satisfied with, and can't wait to see how that goes. So yeah, mostly just reading a bunch.
How do you feel about Invincible? Robert Kirkman saying it's ending next year.
Yeah, so I just saw that last night, and I've been reading that a bunch and really enjoying it. And I mean, I read his post that he wrote about it, and I think that he's ready for it to be done next year, and it'll have reached its logical conclusion. So I don't think he's messing anything up or screwing it over. So I'm cool with it. It kind of sucks that the series pretty much ends as soon as I get into it, but I'll have a year with it, so I'm down with that. And then besides reading, because of DC Rebirth, I was feeling some comic book superhero cartoons. So I've been watching a bunch of Batman the Animated Series, rewatching that, and also rewatching the original Teen Titans on Cartoon Network.
Oh, nice. Yeah, none of that Teen Titans Go garbage.
Well, I still think it's cool. A lot of people really hate on that show. I think it's kind of funny, and I think it's cool that they did like a goofy spinoff. But of course, the OG series is where it's at, and those are two of some of my favorite cartoons of all time. So, especially Batman the Animated Series, I freaking love that show. So,
yeah. What about you, Dom? What have you been playing, watching, reading?
First and foremost, I finally saw Suicide Squad. Pretty good movie, actually.
Yeah.
A few parts, some of the writing, I was kind of like, what? But
yeah,
the characters were mostly like all really, really interesting. Jared Leto is an awesome Joker, and I hope that I understand that he's a little bit upset with how this all played out, I guess. But I hope he stays in the universe.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn was really cool. Very over sexualized. But that was to be expected, I guess. That's just something they were going to do.
I just watched the animated series episode where she's introduced into the DC universe. That's where she originally got started. And, I mean, it's an animated series on Cartoon Network or WB back in the day. And, I mean, she's kind of over-sexualized in the cartoon. I think that's just her character.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are pissed off about that for, like, weird reasons.
I mean, yeah, I don't care. It's just something I noticed, I guess.
Trust me, I definitely wasn't too upset with it.
Well, yeah. After that, just been playing more AC Syndicate. I think I'm on the very last mission now, and I had to stop last night. But, I mean, I think, the objective is to kill Crawford Steric, so I'm pretty sure that's the end, because he's kind of the big bad. So, nearly done with that. Then also played a little bit of Dead Nation, which all of a sudden got hard as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of us, like, I don't know, level 5 or whatever. Just, like, holy shit. And I don't know how I feel about that, so.
Yeah, that game's brutal.
Also did another couple levels of Monument Valley on mobile, so.
Nice.
We're going to get right into the news here. Actually, before we do, going back to the Invincible thing, for me, it actually makes me more excited to go back and start reading Invincible again. I like things that have, like, a finality to them. It makes me more intrigued because there is a closed-off story there, so kind of excited about that.
And 144 issues seems like a lot. I mean, obviously, really, you're only doing about 12 issues a year, so it's been like 13 years. But if you're just like binge reading comics, or not even binge reading, but like, just going through a series, it doesn't take that long. So you'll be at the end before you know it.
Yeah, and then I can't wait in 20 years when they make Invincible 2 and they recast all women, and then people will be mad.
You should read his post because he talks about why he doesn't want to just like give it to some other creative team and let them like ruin the comic. It's really funny.
Oh, I'll definitely check it out. Yes, getting to the first story here. This comes by way of Game Rant. I can't find the author on this article. Yeah, I guess it's... Oh, there we go. Dalton Cooper. Over at Game Rant, Electronic Arts teases Mass Effect Remaster potential. Electronic Arts Executive Vice President Patrick Sutherland discusses video game remasters, teasing that remastered versions of the Mass Effect games are in development. One of the most popular series of last generation was award-winning Mass Effect Trilogy from BioWare and Electronic Arts. With Mass Effect Andromeda not set to launch until 2017 at the earliest, fans of the franchise have been clamoring for the original games to be remastered for the current gen hardware to help tide them over. I want to get to the actual interview part here. EA Executive Vice President Patrick Sutherland hinted at much in an interview with Game Informer at Gamescom. Sutherland said that he couldn't make an official announcement just yet, but fans shouldn't be too surprised to see the Mass Effect trilogy remastered at some point in the future. Sutherland said, "The honest answer is that we are absolutely actively looking at it. You can expect us most likely to follow our fellow partners in Activision and other companies that have done this successfully. Like EA, Activision has been reluctant to remaster its classic games in the past, but that appears to be changing." And then he goes on to talk about the Call of Duty remaster and all that stuff. I'm excited. I don't know how excited you guys are, but this is my favorite franchise. And though a lot of people anticipated this, it's good just hearing somebody in the company saying it's happening. So, yeah, I'm excited. What about you guys? Are you guys excited for this or enough for remasters? Like, how do you guys feel about this?
So I'd say I'm excited about it. I don't know if it was the same guy that was talking earlier, but this was probably a year ago that this interview happened. Where they were talking to an EA executive about the possibility of this remaster, and he said that they had looked into it, but they weren't going to do it, and like confirmed it right then and there that it wasn't happening. And so now that it's getting brought back up, it's kind of weird, especially for me because I started playing the trilogy on PS3 because of the fact that they said it wasn't going to get remastered. So hopefully I don't get like screwed out of bridging a save file over or anything like that. But, hell, I enjoyed the first game so much, and I'm super excited to play the second here in a bit, that I might just go back through it on next gen.
So,
awesome.
Did you already buy all 3 games on PS3?
Yeah, the trilogy is...
Oh, you bought the whole trilogy. Okay, I see.
I think... I'm not even sure if they sell them individually on PS3 because...
because Mass Effect 1 wasn't a PS3 game.
Yeah. That was the only way that it came out was through the trilogy and several years later. So the trilogy was only $5 on sale when I bought it. So I wouldn't mind buying it.
Okay.
Yeah, for all that game content it really wasn't much.
Yeah, I'll buy it again. I love the series so much. It gives me an excuse to play through it again. Yeah, so I'm excited. Plus, it depends on how hands-on they are with the remaster. Like, they're able to go into Mass Effect 1 and touch up some of that. I know it won't be obviously crazy different, but if they're able to touch up some things and make them a little less clunky, that'd be cool. But we'll see.
It would be cool if it was like a Nathan Drake collection type deal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Jared. If they do that, then I'll definitely pick it up because I never did play Mass Effect 1, just 2 and 3. And I never really wanted to, just because I was like, wow, it's kind of going backwards in game mechanic wise. I don't. But if they tweak a couple gameplay elements or make it a little closer to 2 or 3, then maybe I'll consider this.
Yeah, like if they just obviously improve the graphics and make it a little less clunky, Mass Effect 1 is really solid. Like, it has the deepest RPG elements out of any of them. So, next story here. Dark Souls 3 major announcement coming August 24th. This comes by way of Gamatsu, Sal Romano. A major Dark Souls 3 announcement is coming on August 24th. Publisher Bandai Namco has teased. Bandai Namco posted the above image on Twitter, and it says, Dark Souls 3 Ashen Ones, a major announcement is forthcoming. The announcement is likely surrounded around the game's downloadable content plans. A developer from Software previously confirmed the game will have post-release add-ons like its predecessors. This is cool. I was talking about Dark Souls earlier, about playing it. Did you play the DLC for any of the Dark Souls, Dom?
For Dark Souls 1, yes. It was an amazing piece of DLC.
Yeah.
Something Artorias... I don't even remember. But that was awesome. Dark Souls 2, I did not play any of the DLC, which I heard was actually much better than the core game, but I never got a chance to go back and play it. And Dark Souls...
I've heard the series has really good DLC.
Which is weird how close Dark Souls is to BioShock in that sense of 1's a solid game, 3's a solid game, 2, not a lot of people like the base game, but Minerva's Den, a lot of people love that. Yeah. And then with Dark Souls 2, I guess people love the DLC more than the actual game. That's funny how they draw that parallel. Yeah, excited to see what this is. This will be less than a week from the day of recording this. If you're listening to this on Sunday, the announcement will be made on Thursday if you're a Dark Souls fan. So definitely check that out. See what the DLC has to hold, because with this DLC, you're not going to be getting another Dark Souls game, as Firm has stated, for a while. So cherish that DLC while you have it.
But we might get a Demon Souls remaster, holding out hope.
Oh, that'd be cool. The next story here comes by way of GameSpot. Matt Paget. No Man's Sky data miner finds poop in Xbox One reference. Essentially, not to go into the story too long, but he basically found out that there is a possibility of this coming to Xbox One because the developer... so they basically rented out a physics engine or bought the rights to use it for this game. And in the coding, it shows that they bought the rights for PlayStation 4, PC, and they also bought the rights for Xbox One. Now, people are speculating that this is obviously a chance for it to come to Xbox One. Also, it could have been that they could have gotten a package deal where they got it for cheaper, buying all of them, and once Sony came in and wanted to do the marketing and stuff, those plans could have changed, right? But the thing is that No Man's Sky's lead Sean Murray, basically they asked him face to face, will this ever become an Xbox One? And he said, I don't know what I can say right now, but we'll see what happens in the future. And he had a Sony rep there that kind of scooted the interview along. This could be an inside situation. I don't know if it'll be that soon that it comes to Xbox One, but you kind of don't want to talk about your competitor until it just happens, right? This also could... I honestly don't realistically think that this is going to come to Xbox One. I think it's more of the situation of they were able to get be able to use the physics engine, and they got it for cheap for all three platforms. And then once Sony stepped in, that kind of went to the wayside, I don't know. It would be cool, but yeah. And then all this new, I don't know if you guys saw the story talking about there possibly will be paid DLC in the future for No Man's Sky. So I don't know what's happening there.
I think it's coming to Xbox One. I thought the fact that it released on PC like right after PS4 was a good indicator, and then the fact that Sean Murray didn't just straight up say no. I mean, if it wasn't, then he would just say no. It's not. This isn't like a Bloodborne situation, third-party exclusive, where, Sony really paid for it and really made it their own game. I think they just helped it along enough to where, kind of like Dead Rising or something like that, eventually it could come out for the opposite platform, I think.
Yeah, and maybe by then it'll have a lower price, and that'll actually probably help it sell too.
Yeah.
I think the biggest barrier for entry for that game is the $60 price point. The next story here, Kotaku, Jason Schreier, obviously. Final Fantasy 15 officially delayed to November 29th. This was actually an update to a story he had where it was a rumor that it was going to get delayed, and then people basically hated on him saying that wasn't the case. They have friends that work at GameStop. They know that's not the case.
Yeah.
But sadly, yeah, Final Fantasy 15 has been delayed to November 29th. For me, I mean, there's nothing to really go into the story. He just talks about why it was delayed. The developers say that they wanted to make sure that the game was, the game they wanted to develop. Same spiel you've heard all along. But they also said that they wanted to make sure that the game was playable with the day one patch for offline users. And that's a big thing that they're working on. There's actually a full statement that they make in a video. If you guys want to check that out on the article. To me, I think it's a really bad delay. Not in terms of like the game itself. I think the game is going to be better for it, obviously. But as far as sales go, it was coming out in a September time where there wasn't a lot around it, where there was a little bit of free time there where people could, dive into Final Fantasy. Now it's coming out at the end of November, where that's like the gauntlet. That's definitely a place where you don't want to get pushed into. And a lot of people I've seen a lot of comments of people saying, it's Final Fantasy, its sales won't be hurt otherwise. Final Fantasy isn't like this blockbuster thing that people think it is,
Yeah, it's on the downswing for sure.
Yeah, and it's definitely second tier in a lot of people's minds to a lot of other games coming out this fall that they'd rather buy. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this delay? As far as, like, was it necessary? Is it going to hurt them? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
As far as I'm concerned, they can shove this game up their ass. I think this is just ridiculous. Yeah, I wasn't really planning on buying it, but this whole thing is ridiculous that they did this whole enormous reveal event.
Yeah.
Just to delay the game. And I understand it'll be a better game for it. Blah, blah. I don't care. Oh, a delayed game is good forever, but a broken game is bad for... Like no. Like, the bad planning is bad planning. You don't know how to manage a project. Especially when it's even more embarrassing and you look like you have an egg on your face when you had this huge reveal event. All that said, I don't really care. Because I wasn't really into this game anyway, but...
Yeah, I think the reveal event definitely made this sting more. I think if they didn't have that, I don't think it would have been as much of an issue. But
yeah, absolutely.
Have this giant event. The funny thing is, there was a whole joke with Greg Miller on stage about pushing the button to show the release event, and he's like, "Oh, will it get delayed?" And they made a joke, and then this happened. So that was a meme on the internet for a couple of days.
Maybe it was Greg's fault. Maybe he did a Steve Harvey and said the wrong date.
Oh God.
Well, that's the funniest part is that when they did that big event, they obviously look like dumbasses for doing that, but then. In the event itself, when they're revealing the date, if you go back and watch the video, it's on YouTube, they have this like scrolling wheel of dates coming through. And I'm pretty sure it pops up and says November 30th, and then everyone cheered, and then they knocked it back up to September to fool with people.
Yeah.
And so now it's like that actually happened, and you guys just look like massive idiots.
Also, do you think that this is... this delay might have been for some reason to coincide with like the Neo or PSVR or something.
I
think the game was just like, crap and not ready.
I think, like Dom said, they just don't know how to manage a project.
Yeah,
That's why
it's Square Enix.
10 years in the making.
Well, you guys saw those demos. I mean, everything looked kind of muddy. The controls looked really unresponsive. It looked like it just was not technically ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, I wasn't somebody that was... I've gone up and down on this game of like wanting to get it, not wanting to get it, and then this kind of is like, well, it's coming out near like Titanfall 2 and a bunch of other games, so I'm definitely not getting it. Unless for some reason we get a PC code, but I would rather give that to probably one of you guys because you guys would probably enjoy that game more. But
I think, like you said, it was coming out at a perfect time, and now they kind of screwed it up and threw it in with everything else. And for me, you were talking about teetering, Jared. For me, this is the nail in the coffin that says I'm not getting this game day one. I was actually pretty close because of the fact that there wasn't anything else around it. I was probably going to get it in September, but now I'm like, you know what? You guys, you pissed me off one too many times. I was close. You almost hooked me back in with all those like anime series and bonus stuff, but no.
And announcing your season pass and all of its content before the game comes out.
Oh God.
So the next story here isn't really an article. It's more of it was a YouTube video that the people over at The Know, which is the news organization for Rooster Teeth, put together of a bunch of information and factors regarding Fallout New Orleans. So over on the European Union Intellectual Property Office, and this was posted on NeoGAF because people just sit there and look at trademarks all day, I guess. The people that find this are insane to me, but I love them. Fallout New Orleans was trademarked. And this is exciting. A lot of the information they showed in the video were that New Vegas was actually developed and made within 18 months after Fallout 3. I believe if this were to come out next fall, it would be 16 months, or next March or something. I forgot the exact dates, but essentially we're kind of in that same timeline. And there was something, I believe you were saying something, Dom, about something with isometric.
So I was listening to an interview of one of the like the high up directors from Obsidian, Jay or Josh Seeley. I feel bad, I can't remember. And he had worked on the original Fallout games like 1 and 2, and now he's one of those directors at Obsidian, and he particularly said, we would love the opportunity to work on another Fallout game, in particular an isometric one. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it literally means that Bethesda hasn't offered yet, but maybe it also means that it's almost done and he just can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. Also, the really cool thing with Fallout is how they take the culture of a certain area and then they tear that down, but it still keeps its roots in the post-apocalyptic setting. Like Fallout New Vegas, 100% felt like Las Vegas, Nevada. You know.
Oh yeah.
Fallout 4 definitely gave you that Northeast vibe. Like they're very good at that, and I would love to see what the Southeast has to deliver in like a Fallout New Orleans. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
With a bayou and everything, I think it'd be so cool. So hopefully that's happening. Here is a story that pertains to Jordan, out of all of us, the most. By way of PC Gamer, Joe Donnelly writes, Metal Gear Survive is a co-op stealth game set in an alternate timeline to Ground Zeroes.
Metal Gear?
Konami unveils first Metal Gear game following Hideo Kojima's departure. Launching the first Metal Gear game following revered mastermind Hideo Kojima's departure was always going to be tricky for Konami. So deep was the enduring influence on the series he created. Judging by its revealed trailer, Metal Gear Survive is a distinct change of pace from what we've become accustomed to. It's an online co-op stealth em-up that takes a divergent look at familiar Metal Gear themes, says Konami. It's weird. I don't know what else to say. What do you guys think?
Weird is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a move that Kojima would make. Like, how? I don't know what to say here. Which as single player campaign, it's a weird alternate universe spin-off type deal. It is interesting, I guess, but it also kind of I'm worried because it kind of reminds me of like this Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, stuff like that, and I just really don't want it to be that. It's got zombies and wormholes and all kinds of crap. Not that the Metal Gear Solid 5 didn't originally have that, but it's interesting. I'll just have to wait until it comes out and check the reviews. It's weird that this is the first game that Konami's doing in the Metal Gear franchise after Kojima left. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm excited about it, but I definitely don't think it's as bad as it could be. I had some crazy fears of what they would do once he left, so I don't think it's as bad as it could be. Maybe the fact that it is co-op and really doesn't have single-player campaign could just lend itself to the fact that I was talking about the possible MGS3 remake that they could be doing, and maybe that's a more single-player focused game that they have coming out in the franchise. So hopefully, that's what's going on behind the scenes, but who knows?
We also don't know the scale of this game. This could be a Dead Rising Case Zero, where it's like a very small chunk of a bigger idea. Also, they say that this isn't going to be a full retail price. So, it's interesting. Doesn't seem like the game that Metal Gear fans wanted, though Metal Gear is so weird throughout the years that it's kind of hard to peg what you guys would want, but I'm pretty sure it's not a co-op stealth game with zombies. So, the last story here is probably the saddest story. We've talked about Below multiple times on this podcast wanting to come out, and Capybara Games made an announcement officially on their website. I'll read it to you guys here. A short announcement about Below. We told you Below would be out this summer. Our team worked hard to make that deadline a reality, but after a strong push, we've decided it isn't ready. We did a lot of soul searching. We knew we wanted to get into your hands as soon as possible. We know the game was there and we were super proud of it. But we also knew it needed more time to make sure it lives up to our studio standards and the quality you expect from our games. From the very beginning, Below has been our most ambitious undertaking, and we're just not quite done excavating its depths or polishing all of its facets. Instead of giving you a new loose release window, we'll be going dark while we take the time that we need to complete Below without compromise. The next time you see a major Below update, that means our game has a firm release date, which we'll share. Making games is hard but rewarding work. Accepting even after this long development that the game needs more time is difficult, but it's important that we are honest with ourselves as creators and with you, the players. We're sorry we let you down with yet another delay, but in the end we need to make certain that the hard work we've put into this game turns into something you'll love. And to us, that unfortunately means keeping Below in the oven a little longer until it truly is ready. Thanks for the continued support, and we'll see you on the other side. Remember, the next time you see a Below update, that means we'll have a firm release date. That's it. So, I appreciate his honesty. 90% of this is no different than what we see from other video game delays, but I do appreciate them not wanting to do a loose release window. I like them just saying they're going to go dark. I like them saying that the next time you'll see an update, that's when we'll have a firm release date. I like a lot of what he said. Like I said, 89% of it is what we've heard before, but I do appreciate him saying they're going to go dark. They're not even worrying about giving another release window. So what are your guys' thoughts on this?
I'm much less critical of this compared to Final Fantasy, because this is how you delay a game if you have to. Because they never gave an exact date, did they?
No, just a release window. Mm-mm. They said summer.
Right.
Yeah.
And they probably said it in the in the terms of like, yeah, we're aiming for this season of this year.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, to me, that's not a guarantee. You didn't have a reveal event.
Or a specific
that you had
date
Greg Miller
period.
host.
Yeah.
Right.
Below uncovered.
And more importantly, they then learned their lesson and said, yeah, well, we're not even going to give you a window because we're just going to work on it until it's done. Like, when was the last time you heard that word? I don't know when it's going to get released. We're just working on it until it is done.
Yeah, you won't hear from us until it's done.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. It takes a lot of guts, too. So I think I think it's all for the better. What do you think about the messaging, Jordan? Do you appreciate his wording?
Yeah, I think this is how delays should be handled, and obviously they did a lot better job than Final Fantasy, and definitely sad to see this delay, but honestly, I'm at the point now when it comes to delays, unless it's something that I'm just super excited about, like if Witcher kept getting delayed, Batman Arkham Knight when it was getting delayed, stuff like that really sucks. Horizon, I'm super excited for that. But unless it's a game that I'm super excited for, I really don't sweat it. Even if it's a game that I'm excited for, like Below, I'm kind of just like, there's plenty of games out there. I've got plenty of stuff to play, and it'll get here when it gets here, and hopefully it will be better for it,
Yeah. I think the only game I'm truly upset got delayed is Mass Effect Andromeda, because you guys know how big of a fan I am of that series.
Oh, yeah. Definitely upset with that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I do appreciate the messaging, the brutal honesty, all of that stuff. I appreciate it. It's sad that these indie studios are doing this kind of messaging better than the big boys. So
Big boys?